Young nurse in crisp white uniform and hat walks into the hospital room with a large window looking over the green forest. The nurse looks over to her right to check the patient. A female patient lying on a white bed. A tall, slim, blonde hair, blue eyes, wide open, opening, looking out of the window. "Hello, Mrs. M," said the nurse. No verbal response from the patient, but the patient's eyes are saying something the caring heart can understand. Nurse looks closely, visually examining patient from head to toe. Clear white skin, sharp features, blue eyes, naturally long eyelashes, pink lips as she has lipstick on, high cheekbones with some natural color to it still. The only thing nurse can say, what a beautiful woman, with humanly admiration for the God's creation of beauty came the sad feeling in nurse's heart. The nurse could think of the diagnostic information she had prior to entering patient's room. This patient has not spoken a word or eaten or produced urine for many days. With guarded prognosis, it was clear the patient's to go to the original home or beauty where she came from. However, not without finishing all her business on this earth. Nurses starts to look for the missing pieces of the puzzle, thinking how it is possible for a human body to go on against all odds to maintain the body it is in the condition. Nurses asking questions. Is this God's power? Patient's inner power? Spiritual power? Or the power that got separated from the body? Nurse could hardly wait to see patient's family visiting this evening. The curious and compassionate nurse checks for demographic information for who may be listed as the next of kin for this patient. Patient's daughter is the next of kin. I have to watch out for some pretty woman to come and visit Mrs. M, the nurse reminds herself. Then the nurse goes on to see all other patients to fulfill all her professional duties as a registered nurse. On the next round to check Mrs. M, the nurse noticed the visitor at her bedside, a slim, tall lady, a younger version of Mrs. M, looking right into the patient's eye. The nurse quickly makes time for a quality conversation for the visitor. The nurse walks over to the young lady, introduces herself professionally. "Hello, I am Mrs. M's nurse. How are you related to Mrs. M? My name is Sarah, and I am her daughter." "And how are you doing?" said the nurse. "Do you have any question for me?" "Yes," said Sarah. "How much longer?" "Did you mean how long your mom would be in this condition?" clarifies the nurse. "Yes," said Sarah. "Who else is in your family?" inquires the nurse further. "I have a brother," said Sarah. During short conversation, Sarah revealed her family structure. Sarah has a brother who lives out of the province. "When was the last time you have seen your brother or he visited Mrs. M?" asked the nurse. "My half-brother was put up for adoption at birth. My mom knows where he is, but has not seen him Since she moved to BC 40 plus years ago, Mom has friends who knows where he is and how he's doing. She had cried many times. And remembering him, want to see him and hug him. She did not have the courage to do so. Does your brother knows his mom is sick and may pass? Sarah assumed her mom's friend had told him. Did you think your mom would want to see him before she passes? Asked the nurse. I'm sure, said Sarah. She always wanted to. How would you feel about seeing your brother? I would not mind, said Sarah reluctantly. Would you like me to connect you with a hospital social worker, or would you rather connect with your brother through family friends? Sarah agreed to see the hospital social worker. 2 evenings later, the same nurse was on duty and saw a tall gentleman, resemblance of Mrs. M, making his way onto the ward. The nurse, controlling her tears back, guided the gentleman into Mrs. M's room. There was Mrs. M and her family at the last hour of her life journey. No words exchanged, lots of tears. Mrs. M's eyes are open, she's blinking and saying enough to write a book. The nurse, providing support with Kleenexes and water, came in and out of the room. The visit went on for most of the evening. The nurse finished her shift at 11:30 at night and said goodbye to the family, who was still there as long as their mom was breathing. The next shift, the nurse found out Mrs. M passed at 12:30 a.m., 1 hour after the nurse fulfilled her professional duty with emphasis on empathy, insightful communication, reflective understanding that has impacted the human life to the end. What holds us back from love, forgiveness, compassion? Is it our limiting beliefs or a fear of vulnerability?